Alright, hey guys, so you can see I'm over here rocking the DBC Exotics merch. Shout out to him, he's a pretty good channel guy. But all we got here today is a 10-gallon tank. So I used to have my curly hair tarantula, which I'll actually grab him right now. Give me 1 second, guys. So I had my curly hair tarantula, Ted. I know it's a girl, but I still like the name Ted, because what's more adorable than Ted? Who is afraid of Ted? But you can, sorry, the glass is a little dirty, but you can see her in the flower pot. So I used to have her in that 10-gallon tank. I'll put her back, or I'll just put her down for now. So I used to have her in this 10-gallon tank, but she didn't really use much of the space. So I decided, why not move her to a smaller tank that's about 5 to 6 gallons, and I'll keep her in there. I scaped it. Well, not my best scape, but it's for a tarantula. So I have a flower pot for her hide, then I put dirt around it, and if you have a few branches, and a water bowl. But now, we're gonna be making this 10-gallon into an awesome tank. So let me bring you guys a little lower, and we'll check this tank out, and what materials I'm gonna be using. Now, I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but I'm not going to tell you the species that I'm going to put in here till the end of the video, so you'll have to watch throughout the whole thing. But here's the tank. We have this 10-gallon. Now let's talk about what rocks I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this Dragonstone. I think this was a 22-pound bag that I got, so I'm going to use all of these. I'm going to be using, here, let me turn the camera open and lower it. I'm going to be using this spider wood. We'll see where I want to put that. I have all these flower pots for plants, because what I have in here, I can't have the plants out and the roots out because they'll get killed. So that might give you a hint of what it might be. I also have this rock that I'm going to use for feeding. And then I have a few little tiny pieces of, I forget the name of the wood. It's a wood that doesn't mold. It's very good wood for human tanks. Even though this isn't a human tank, I might still use it. So let me raise the camera up a little bit again. Alright, so I'm going to start getting on the scape. Also, by the way, the substrate that I'm going to be using for this tank is sand. So this is going to be a fully desert scape, which will look really cool. And the rots, I'm probably going to build a base underneath them using Egg Crate Light Diffuser so that there's a lot more sand. And I'm using the Egg Crate Light Diffuser to raise the rots so that the animal that I put in here, he doesn't go under it and get himself squished. I'm also going to be attaching a lot of the wood most likely to the background. So if he does want to climb, he can climb up. If not, it's up to him. But so yeah. So let's start this time lapse on the tank, and I'll show you how I'm going to try the first scape design. And I'm probably going to do multiple ideas and change it around a lot, so the end product might not look like it'll look after this time lapse. So let's get into it. Alright, so I don't know if I'm going to be in frame, because I can't actually see the camera right now, but I'm going to hope that my face is in frame. Anyhow, holy cow, this ground is cold. So, let's start talking about what I did here. I know that you guys saw it from the back angle where I'm at right now, which probably wasn't the best view of scaping, but I would have been in front of the camera the whole time anyway. So here's what I have. So I have 2 different islands, let's say. I'm using the rule of thirds, so I have this island and this island. So this one's going to be the bigger island, and the animal can go around. He still has all this room to dig into the ground, but under there, he won't be able to. So here, I have the big piece of wood coming from, I'll put a rod face, I'll foam this all together to keep it here. So I'll have it go down here. Then I have it here, which is a bigger rod face, which is what the wood is laying on. Then on this side, I have a smaller little island. Now, I just realized you're probably looking at my crotch and whatnot, so let me change that up. So this here is a smaller little island with a smaller piece of wood. The wood is also tucking back, and that's how it's going to be. So now all of these are actually going to be raised up off the ground by probably an inch, maybe 2 inches, because I want to give the animal a lot of room to dig. So probably to about here, if it's not better to do on the front, is where they're actually going to start and where the ground will be. So I'm going to be using egg crate light diffuser to build those boxes to make sure that the animal can't get into it, and so that they don't fall if the animal digs under it in the sand. So let's get into it. I'm also going to, just so you know, I'm going to be taking this down while doing it and taking all the rocks out, and then I'll put them back in. And this will probably be up more around here, so that'll be good. Alright, so now that I'm back on this side, it looks really good from this angle. I really like it. And I'm going to start making the egg crate light diffuser boxes to raise up the hardscape just a little bit. So while there hasn't been much time for you, it's actually been about half an hour for me. And I just got a bunch of pieces of plastic. Nah, not actually. So this is the egg crate light diffuser that I was talking about. And I'm going to be using this by connecting these pieces together using zip ties. So this will be the first island that I have, and this is the second. So I thought I'd bring you guys back for a second to tell you about my progress, how I cut all these up using this tiny little wire cutter. And I had a whole big sheet of egg crate light diffuser, but now I'm pretty much out, so I'm going to soon need to get another one of these, but they're not too expensive, so that's good. So I'll get to work combining all these, and I'll bring you guys back after I finish that. And we have boxes. A giant step for mankind are boxes. Sorry, I'm very silly. But yes, I do have the boxes. So now, here are the boxes. Now these will be going underneath of the rock features that I have in here that'll help raise them up about 2 inches, or however tall this is. So I'm going to be moving each of the rock features and rebuilding it on top of this after I put in sand. Because I'm actually going to put these in, then I'm going to put the sand, and then I'll put the rock features on top of that so that when I add the sand, it doesn't make it look all weird. So, but adding sand will make it a lot heavier, so I'm probably also going to be moving it to its final location. So you might not get the best quality lighting videos once it's in its final location, but we can work with that. I'm also going to be foaming up the corner where I have the wood sticking up and the rocks so that it'll look a lot better. Alright, I'll do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like with the sand and with the boxes and the rocks. Alright, so here we have a final product. So here is my Canyon Sand Boa desert scape. So now, the Canyon Sand Boa can have free reign of pretty much all the sand. There are a few boxes in there that'll prevent him. He has hides behind here, and behind here, and under there. He also can climb up here, get to that higher perch, feeding dish here. He'll probably bring it into the sand anyway though, because that's just what sand boas do. And I don't have the actual lighting, because this is just the lighting for that tank that I moved over here temporarily just to show it off to you guys. But I really love this tank. I'm actually not gonna change the foam, because right now, while yes, the foam is all white, it doesn't look too ugly. It looks natural. It looks like it's made to be there because it's just the sand color, and that will hold the wood there very sturdily. All these stones are pretty heavily in place, and the smaller ones, they're not big enough to damage him. So yeah, now I do not have the Canyon Sand Boa at the moment. I will be looking into getting one. If you guys know a place, I was gonna look on Morph Market, but because I found a pretty cool one there, but I might not get that exact one. But sorry, I was messing with the light. I really like this tank. So in this tank, I have Dragonstone. I have some just red slate rock for the feeding dish. I have Dragonwood. And this is a 10-gallon tank. Now, I probably will upgrade him in the future. I'm going to get a juvenile, have him in here for a while, then upgrade him when he is older. But I also am going to get plants. So the plants I'm probably going to put in probably a few up there, maybe a few in the ground over here, but I'm going to use the potters. Because, as you know, canyon sandboas like to dig. So any plants that I would put in there, they will probably uproot and stuff like that. So I'll be careful with the plants that I put in there, that they'll be in pots so that he can't uproot them. And if he does unbury the pots, that's okay. I'll just put him back in. So I'll go over there and grab the pots, and I'll show you where I might put them.